Hello there. Hi, friends. I've been booked to do a women's retreat out at Unity Village headquarters, and they asked me for the name of the talk title. And some had requested that I do revisit to a practice called Loving What Is. Most of you have heard me say, I do not love what is. I don't even like what is most of the time. So I told him we could use the title Loving What Is. No, no, thank you. I am not loving what is. So I thought it was a little funny, and they actually went with it. So send a prayer up. And as we look today at what is happening in the world around us and in our own worlds, and the intensities of this particular time of year and the spring and other things that are happening, it felt important to me to go back to a course that I did another study with in last month on Thursday nights with a group that I serve out in Montana. And we looked at a book again. This is maybe my fifth trip through this book and these teachings called The Five Invitations. And it's been so meaningful to me. The book was so helpful to me. The context for it is embracing life fully, embracing all of life, not just the parts I like. And that includes not waiting on anything. So I'll go through these here and encourage you to contemplate, to think, and reflect on what this may mean to you, as it's very much alive in me and what this actually, um, the potential that this holds for me. So the first one, invitation number one, is don't wait. Don't wait. It means live fully now, not to postpone things that matter. So, an example of this, these invitations, and my devotion to following them, my devotion to embodying them is real for me. So, my brother had a kidney cancer last year, and he was to go in for a routine visit with a surgeon. And I was pretty busy and had a full schedule and a lot going on. And I'm also always with some kind of inner struggle about what's mine to do and what's not mine to do, and not over functioning and being the responsible one, and enmeshment and codependency and all this other wacky stuff that goes on in my brain. And to let him go and do it since it was a routine visit. And I asked him, was that all right with him? And he said, yeah, that should be okay. And I immediately and internally got a directive that I must go. Okay. And I could rationally make some sense out of it. Like he would have been more apt to cancel it if I wasn't there to take him in to go do it. They're not pleasant, those follow ups and things. He doesn't want in like doctors anyway. Clearly directed to go. So moved my schedule around and went up there and spent the night and took him in. And they found the cancer was now in his bladder, and it's caught early, just a few months after this kidney and ureter cancer. So the doctor said it needs to come out. It'll have to have some surgery to get this out, and catching it at this early stage is really what's beneficial, and it shouldn't be problematic, and let's go for it. And miracles unfolded on every corner from there. The nurses are so kind. He loves the doctor. The doctor's a straight shooter, which I really appreciate myself. And he said he would call us and let us know when they would schedule it. And they called that very same afternoon, later in that same day, and said, the doctor is going to move things around and accommodate this and do it tomorrow. Because he's got a full schedule too, and then he's going to be out 2 weeks. So he doesn't want to wait on it. And then we got over there to have the surgery. We arrived at 10 a.m. as they had instructed. And The ones at the hospital where he's gonna have the surgery were surprised because they said, "You're not supposed to be here till 11:30, and the doctor doesn't get here till 12, and you're the 3rd case, not the 1st case of surgery." And my brother started shaking his head like, "No, I'm not waiting around here that long." And I was clearly guided to don't wait. And I knew if we left the hospital, he wouldn't go back. He would absolutely cancel it. He wouldn't go through with it. So I asked the staff, the medical staff, to call the doctor and let him know there'd been a misunderstanding about what time to arrive, that he was here as directed, which is early and ready, and would he move up his case and do it first instead of last. And the nurse couldn't believe that I would ask such a thing. And I didn't know if she would or not, and she eventually did, and the doctor said yes to it, and so did the anesthesiologist. So he still had to wait some, but not much. And what matters to me is the care of my family and of being there and offering my family the same wholehearted service, selfless service that I give to so many other people and not waiting. So I could go on and on. What is some things you may be waiting on that you're guided differently about? It could be something you need to say to somebody. It could be forgiveness to extend. It could be taking a trip. It could be canceling a trip. So, what does don't wait mean to you? To live fully now and to not postpone anything that matters to you when possible. Invitation number 2 is welcome everything, push nothing away. And you've heard me say it, I'm sure, over and over. I do not welcome everything. I do not love what is. I cannot embrace everything yet. However, I go in that direction. I work at that to accept what I cannot change. And even though I may not can embrace it, I'm not as bound up in rigid resistance and pushback either. So the invitation is to accept the experiences that come. Myrtle Fillmore said it in a quote. I think I gave this a few weeks ago, that every single experience is a gift for us, even though it doesn't feel like a gift and we may not process it as a gift. That I accept, even if I can't see this as a gift, I accept what I cannot change about this, which also includes some discomforts, some inconveniences, some losses. And my invitation then and my work, my spiritual practice has to be to keep more openness to that, more acceptance of that, more understanding that it's not always going to go my way. And there'll be times it does and times it does not. And how can I be on solid spiritual, emotional ground when it doesn't go my way? So, accepting, allowing for all experiences, even discomfort and losses. Number 3, invitation is to bring my whole self to the experience. That means to show up authentically, which also includes vulnerably. And showing up authentically is not all that hard for me. I could not have done what I've done for all these decades if I'd have shown up anything else, because I wouldn't have had the energy to do it. So it's like you can expect Martha to be Martha. I'm Martha on Tuesday, just like I'm Martha on Sunday. I'm Martha in the morning, like I'm Martha in the evening. So that's not as much of a stretch for me. Showing up vulnerably, though, is another matter. And showing up with sadness or despair or grief or things that I'm not as comfortable with, things that I'm not as proud of, things that I'm even ashamed of at times that I was not able to process that differently, but to bring my whole self to the experience. And this has happened a few times in the last month where Saint Martha has had a big outburst, and it came out as anger or rage. And in the first case back in January, and thank goodness I was with close friends that understand and that would give me grace, mercy, because this is not characteristic of me, that I had not had very many hours of sleep for about 3 nights in a row. And it was, I lost patience and yelled out, like, give her turn or something like that. And then I got in a similar situation again, hadn't slept well, and yelled out at my family member, please keep your word. You promised you would keep this intact. You didn't. You haven't. And now it's a mess. So I woke up to myself, went out and got some fresh air, and hand on my heart, gave compassion to myself. There's no wonder I had a big reaction, the shape I'm in, and vulnerably went and apologized that I'm sorry for not only what I said, but more importantly, how I said it and how it came out. The good news is I didn't embody that as shame or self hate or recrimination, that I absolutely had self compassion to myself and for myself. And there's been one other episode, so maybe three's the magic number, and three's just enough, of where it looked like a big insurance debacle in my family, and what was required to go in on the application, they wouldn't comply with. And I was worried that I wasn't conveying just the serious nature of this and couldn't get through to them. And this was the powerlessness that I have at times that I don't like a bit. Powerful? Yeah. Powerless? Not so much. And yet, at times, I am. So, bringing my whole self to the experiences. It means everything, the alpha and the omega of my humanness. Number 4 invitation is to find a place of rest in the middle of everything. How to find a place of rest in the middle of this. Now, I've shared with you all that I watched that Chosen series again during Lent, and this was a boot camp of leadership training in that series for me, and how Jesus was with chaos ensuing in about every scene, whether it was restless congregants, restless people, people clamoring to be near him, somebody expecting something of him he couldn't give, the disciples mad at each other and hurt feelings and left out and whatever, not to mention the bigger chaoses of what was going on in the cities and the state and eventually, but that would cause him to die. So, how to have some rest in every single scene of that. Jesus apparently observed what was going on, could see this is intense, chaotic, confusing, bewildering, even threatening, and over and over said, thank you for the information. I can see that too, and here's what I'm going to do. Regardless of what they do, here's what I'm going to do. Regardless of what they say, this is where I stand. Regardless of what they need, want, should, don't want, it's okay. And here's what I'm going to do. Here's who I am. Here's who I've come here to be. This is how I'm going to handle this. So that was very inspiring to me to see again a model of this and how to find some rest for ourselves, not waiting and not a hostage to that settling down till everybody getting along, to everybody's in agreement before I can rest, because none will ever come. So, how to have rest. It also was important for my work. Like, it's normal that I work about sometimes 16 hours a day regularly, pretty regularly. and I love what I do. It's very hard to call it work, and I wouldn't be able to do it as long as done it and with the bandwidth I do if I hadn't found a way to rest in the middle of it so that I am not taking on the stress of other people's losses and plights, that I can be there for them, be a heart for them, a compassionate space, a witness, a listener, and not absorb their pain, not absorb their suffering. And to the degree that I absorb it, there's now I've just multiplied the suffering. So, how to continue to cultivate inner peace regardless of what's going on in the outer. So, cultivating and valuing and working at inner peace. And I heard myself, I have to work at being peaceful even amidst chaos. And then the fifth one is I've got maybe the next to the amount of most practice with this, cultivating a don't know mind. So that means a superpower, and I actually believe it is a superpower to approach life with curiosity, with I'm wondering, with humility, like I don't know what the will and the way of it is, and an openness to the unknown. So my greatest spiritual practice is to accept the mystery of things, the mystery of how people do what they do and why they do what they do and why they don't do what they do and why they won't keep their word and what may have caused that. And I don't know. I've not walked in their shoes. And I, if I had, I would be thinking, believing, and likely reacting the way they are. So, how do these invitations spark you to don't wait, welcome it all, welcome everything, resist less, push nothing away, bring your whole self to the experience, find a place to rest in the middle of things. Stillness is vital, especially in uncertain times, and to cultivate a don't know mind, to meet whatever comes with a sense of wonder or curiosity as superpowers. So, practical applications. And I'm committed to do these in any of these talks this year because so many people tease me, like, Martha, we appreciate your talks and all that. And you're always telling us what to do, Martha. You're telling us what to do. And you don't tell us how to. So I don't mean to tell you what to do. I mean to share with you things that have worked with me. And then if you want to do them, that's up to you. And if you don't want to do them and you're still willing to, that says a lot about you too. So, how to live out this don't wait invitation would mean a daily mindfulness. What does matter to me when I look at my to do list? What on that list is more valuable to me, more important to me, would move me toward my goals? So, to have some priority to my to do list. It also means not waiting to express love and gratitude in my relationships, not to assume that they know how I feel or that they're a mind reader, to say it to their face, to say it to their eyes, that their eyes and ears get to witness it. Their eyes get to see it, their heart gets to feel it, and their ears get to hear it. My love and gratitude for them and my relationships with them. And then to take action that is meaningful to my toward my goals and my dreams, like not to wait to do something. And there'll be a deck of cards coming out um, here some in the next month or two. I'll hold them up to you when I get them. So it's those are meaningful to me. These are photographs I've taken around the world, and it's like not waiting anymore on getting them boxed up and available so that people out in the world can have them too, which is another way to get empowered teachings to the whole of the world, which is my primary mission, to serve those who serve and to get empowered teachings to the whole of the world. So, shifting from resistance to curiosity, I'm wondering, journaling, reflection, um, even like memoir writing. I did some of this past week, and I wrote, just prompted myself with what I didn't expect to happen was, and something just poured out of me that was an important part of me processing a disappointment that I had. Honest conversations, deep listening, creating moments of silence in between the clients that I have to take an extra 5 minutes instead of busying myself and what can I do between them, to take the time between them to cultivate stillness, presence, to have a ritual of grounding myself, to be less rigid about my expectations, to practice humility and the wonder of things, and to keep myself engaged in some kind of learning and exploration is important to me. So, transformational possibilities here, invitations, yet again, an invitation. So, what's something you've been waiting for? What's one way that you hold back your full self? And what's one way that you actually show up pretty authentically? How have you handled uncertainty with wisdom and consciousness? These questions come to mind, maybe to yours. MarthaCreek.com to contact me. Blessings, and I invite you to the truth of you. Hi ho, off to the truth we go. Blessings and love.